Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm visible and audible. Actually, I think I'm visible, but just check if I'm audible or not. And please let me know who all are there in the class. So, let's start. Today is a marathon session. We'll be actually doing what you say is 50 questions. So, let us start. Briefly about me, I'm Siddhi Bangard, and good morning, Sanjeev. Good to see you here. So, all those who are here, please ping me on the live chat so that I know that you're here. Starting off, briefly about me, I'm Siddhi Bangar. I have 3 years of teaching experience. I've appeared for 4 mains and an interview. And I have done my post-graduation from XLRI Jamshedpur. This is my code SBUS or SP Siddhi. You can use whichever you want to get instant 10% off on any of the UPSC CSE subscriptions for any course, any category. You can get an instant 10% off using my code SBUS or SP Siddhi. This is my Unacademy profile link, so you can follow me there, so that if you have any queries, you can ping me on the Unacademy app. And also, if you follow me there, you will get all the notifications about my upcoming classes on the Unacademy platform. I take classes both on YouTube and on the Unacademy platform. So under the plus, you get benefits like daily live classes where you can chat with me, you can ask your doubts, you can answer in the polls and be in the leaderboard. So you can see your comparative position in the class. So if there are say 70 students in the class, there is a leaderboard for top 10 so that you can see whether you are performing as per your requirements or as per the needs of the exam. Going ahead, there are also the facility of live test and quizzes. We are starting it here on YouTube also, so I think we'll be starting with it tomorrow itself. And right now, there's a prelim test series going on the Unacademy platform already. All our courses are aligned exactly to the UPSC syllabus, and more importantly, when you talk about the plus courses, you have the entire schedule of the course beforehand so that you can plan your studies accordingly. That really benefits you because it gives you the flexibility to determine which class will be covering what topics. And going ahead, of course, one subscription of Unacademy gives you access to all the live and recorded courses which you can watch from the comfort of your devices. For example, some days you have a network issue, you can go back and watch the recorded lectures, attempt the polls as if it's a normal live running class, so that if there was a quiz going on, you can answer the quiz also in a live format, even if you go back and watch the recorded lectures. So nothing is missed, unlike the offline classes where if you miss a class, you actually have missed the entire class. Here, if it is because of network issue, if you were ill or whatever happened, you can always go back and check the recorded classes. Additionally, all the live and recorded courses will be accessible to you with just one subscription. That means anything which happened even in the past, for example, past 4 years, whatever videos are there which are related to the UPSC CSE category are still there on the platform. You can go and access them. With that, please download the Unacademy Learning app so that you can easily access the Unacademy platform and track your learning. Also, apart from the plus, we have the Unacademy Iconic program. So this is a very unique program, especially when it comes to the online platform, because usually what is missing on the online platform is a human touch. Though your educators are there in front of you, everything is there, but you really can't get in touch on a day-to-day basis. To actually meet that need, we have this iconic program where apart from the benefits of the plus courses, which I just talked about, you will have a personal coach, which will add a personal touch to your entire preparation. You will have somebody to tell you what to do, how to do, when to do something. So your smallest doubts will be addressed by that person. That person will be assigned to you by the Unacademy. He or she will also make you practice the daily mains question and answers. He or she will help you structure or schedule your studies, and finally will be giving you a personalized feedback to keep your entire preparation on track. So wherever you go wrong, that person will be there to tell you that, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, you should in fact focus on this. For example, recently a couple of students were asking me, ma'am, should we learn all the GI tags? I was like, you don't need to, because you don't need to spend 3 hours, 4 hours learning 400 or 375 plus GI tags for a two marker question. So that kind of insights will come from this person. You can talk to this person either on Telegram or WhatsApp or calls. So there will be a complete personal interaction. So 1 year iconic is for 64,000, 2 year iconic is for 99,000, and you can use my code SBUS to get an instant 10% off. And 1 year plus is for 44,000 and 2 year plus is for 64,000. You can use my code SBUS or SPCD, whatever suits you, to get an instant 10% off on the subscriptions. And choose wisely, choose Unacademy and choose iconic, and use my code SBUS to get an instant 10% off on any of the UPSC CSE subscriptions in any of the categories. With that, this is my special class which goes live at 8:30 p.m. almost every day unless I'm ill. Otherwise, you will be always informed because you get the notifications on the Unacademy app. So this is the snapshot from my September 7 class which I took very recently. Here we are discussing the prelims mini mock test series. We do 10 to 12, 13 questions from current affairs which are relevant to the UPSC prelims 2020. With that, let's start. So, games of the rule, very simple. Feel free to be wrong in this class. However, I would push you to get as many correct as possible because now we are approaching prelims. 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer, and most importantly, enjoy the class. And I'm sure we'll crack it together. So let's crack it. Okay, let's move on to question number 1 without much delay. So good morning everyone. Ronnie, if you use my code on the iconic subscription, you can any which ways interact with me personally, Ronnie. But if you use the code, you get a personal mentor with you if you take the subscription, not the code. Yes, Obey, that's why we have the recorded lectures. Alright, good morning everyone. Afreen, Dheeraj, Ridhima, Obed, Ronnie, Shantini. So we'll start. 15 more seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. So today we'll be doing 50 questions, alright. So after 25 questions, we'll take a 20-minute break so that you guys can have lunch, alright. And then we'll start off. Your time starts now. Okay, so a couple of people have already answered me correctly. Of them is Afreen, Darshan and Dheeraj. Yes, it's option number C. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Arabica and Robusta are the two main varieties of coffee grown in India. So primarily in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka it is grown. If you remember, the CCD owner, the Cafe Coffee Day owner who recently committed suicide, was also from Karnataka. And it is also grown in some of the northeastern states. And yes, there is no minimum support price for coffee in India. It's kind of a cash crop, so there is no minimum support price. However, given the recent state of coffee growers and the failure of the crops, there was a huge demand in December 19 that we should have a minimum support price for coffee growers in India also. That was with regards to Chikmagalur. So let's go and check this out. Yes, Ashutosh, you're correct. Suman, it's option number C. So coffee is traditionally grown in the Western Ghats, as I told you, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and it is also expanding to Andhra and Odisha as well as the northeastern states. So mostly all the 7 northeastern states, they grow coffee. Arabica and Robusta are grown in India out of the 3 main varieties. Arabica is a mild coffee, whereas Robusta is a little strong. So Arabica is highly aromatic. So if you talk about aromatic coffees, this is the bean which is used. If you want a very strong coffee, then you use the Robusta beans. And given the aggravating farmer distress, especially in Chikmagaluru in Karnataka, which happened in December 19, they actually asked for a loan waiver or a minimum support price regime. As of now, there is no minimum support price given to the coffee growers. With that, let's come to question number 2. So again, 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. This is something we have done previously also. So I think most of you should get this correct. Yes, Suman, please continue. No, no problems. I understand, completely understand. Ovid, you do have a Arabica coffee plantation. Oh my God. That's lovely. Do send us the pics sometime. Send me the pics sometime. I really want to see how it looks like. Afreen, I did not see you yesterday and day before yesterday in the Unacademy special classes. Please download the PDFs from there. The questions were nice, so download the PDFs. All right. Okay. So, well, actually, nobody has answered me correctly. It's option number A, which is the correct answer. All right. So it is option number A. NEFT is your nationwide payment system facilitating one-to-one funds transfer for even such individuals who do not have a bank account. It was to actually increase the digitization agenda of the government and to also increase the digital financial payments agenda of the government. So option number 1 is correct. All right. And option number 2, this 2 lakh requirement, a minimum of rupees 2 lakh should be transferred, is not for NEFT but the RTGS, real time transfer of money. Is that okay? So only Dheeraj and Darshan have answered me correctly. So pretty good. Well done, guys. Dheeraj and Darshan have answered me correctly. Rest everybody, it's option number A. All right. So this was done in December 16. Now, under this scheme, even if you don't have a bank account, you can go and tell the bank to transfer the funds using NEFT. However, the cash remittances are restricted to 50,000 per transaction for those who don't have a bank account. Is that okay? And the 2 lakh bank limit is actually for the RTGS service. However, in RTGS, there is no cap on the maximum amount that you can use to transfer the money. Is that okay? Are we good? All right, Afreen. So that you can do in the banks, because if the bank is participating, bank can have an account now. You even don't have an account with Paytm. It's like a wallet. Yes? Okay. In fact, that's how you do the money orders also. You don't have an account kind of thing, but the bank can do the transfers. And basically, it's wire transfer. You're not transferring real money. All right, Sanjeev? Great. Let's come to question number 3. It's an interesting index. So, okay. 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and your time starts. All right. Okay. So I have got only 2 correct answers as of now. That's Ashutosh, Ronnie, Ridhima and Darshan. 4. Well, yes, only option number 2 is correct. It is not released by World Economic Forum. We will see who releases it. It's business to consumer e-commerce index. So basically one of its kind indices. We really don't have much indices when it comes to e-commerce or the readiness of the countries when it comes to e-commerce. So Netherlands has topped the charts again. So it's the second time that Netherlands has come first in this index, which is called the B2C e-commerce index or business to consumer e-commerce index. So India is on the 73rd position. This index is actually released by UNCTAD, or United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and not World Economic Forum. No, it is released by United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and this is the second year when Netherlands has topped. It also topped in 2018, and Netherlands is followed by Switzerland, followed by Singapore, Finland, UK, Denmark, Norway, Ireland, Germany, Australia. So just remember the top three, which is Netherlands, Switzerland, and your Singapore. All right. So basically, the scores that are done on this index are based on the internet servers. Do we have secure internet servers, because that is required for e-commerce? Reliability of the postal services so that the logistics can happen, and the portion of the population that uses internet or has an account with a financial institution or mobile money service provider. So that's why if you have a mobile wallet, or if you have an internet wallet, or if you are registered with a financial institution like Paytm, MobiKwik, or Bheem, anything that can actually do the payment transfers online. So that is all is actually considered in the scores. However, one important measure that actually comes out of this report is it shows the glaring gap between the digital gap between developed and developing countries. So India, with its strides made in the IT department, and also having people access to internet, the cheapest internet services we have in our country, still Netherlands actually tops the list, and we are at the 73rd position. So that actually shows the glaring digital gap which is there between the developed and the developing countries. Ashutosh, B2C is business to consumer. So it's like Amazon coming to me. So what is that index? How healthy is that interaction? How easy is that interaction? For example, see, okay, so if say I live in a very remote area, say I live in a village near Ajmer, which is my actual village. Now there we don't have this kind of infrastructure. We don't have the warehouses. The internet is still chappy, and people are not very internet savvy, right? And the postal services are obviously not very reliable. So how do you, even if Amazon wants to sell me there, it has to have some logistical base. Or for example, if my village is not connected with roads, then how are you going to send me the packets? So these all things are taken care of when you talk about business to consumer e-commerce index. Business to consumer means Amazon to a normal individual consumer, or Flipkart to a normal individual consumer, and Snapdeal to a normal individual consumer, eBay to a normal individual consumer, and so on and so forth. Is that okay? Yes. Let's come to question number 4. This we have done many times. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and your time starts. All right. This is the easiest one. We have done this numerous times. I have taught this numerous times on the Unacademy sessions. Okay, Sanjeev and Afreen, I can still ignore your answer, but Sanjeev, I can't ignore your answer. We have done this numerous times. Niagara Falls and Victoria Falls, both I have taught you in the world mapping class, Sanjeev. Don't you remember? So Niagara Falls is at the border of Canada and USA, between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. We discussed that, I think yesterday itself. And Victoria Falls is the smoke that thunders. Locally, it is called that. It was named after Victoria because that time your Zambia was colonized. So they named it after Queen Victoria. Yes, the correct answer is option number C, the Victoria Falls. So recently it was in news because due to the chappy rainfall or the itinerant rainfall that has fallen in Africa or southern African region, the falls have almost dried up to a trickle. So they were actually seeing the effect of climate changes because the rainfall has been dwindling in the southern African region. So that's why this thing was in news. It is located midway along the course of Zambezi River. In fact, when I was teaching you Zambezi River, that is when I taught you this. So Zambezi forms a border between your Angola and Zambia. We have done this on the world map. Yes, Afrin, you also remember? And Sanjeev, we discussed this. It is a World Heritage Site, one of the oldest World Heritage Sites. It was declared a World Heritage Site in 1989. And yes, locally it is known as the smoke that thunders. So the Victoria Falls is quite big. It looks like a smoke of water. That's why it is known as the smoke that thunders. So your Victoria Fall is actually the largest waterfall in the world, and it is between Zambia and Zimbabwe in the southern Africa. And actually looking at it, this is where it is. So this is your Zimbabwe, and this is here on the Zambezi River. You have the Victoria Falls, this place here, and this is your boundary with Zimbabwe. Is that okay? All right. So let's move on. It's a World Heritage Site. Let's come to question number 5. A very easy question, extremely easy question. All right. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Good afternoon, Kaval. There we go. All right. So I have already got 2 correct answers. Ridhima and Suman. Yes, it's in New Zealand. It's one of the most active volcanoes in New Zealand. It erupted recently. In fact, interestingly, in White Island, the volcano which erupted, it is actually not called he, it is called she. They consider it to be mother and they worship it. So it is called she by the Maoris, which are a native tribe of New Zealand. So as per the Maoris, tourists have been visiting this site very often, right? So they were like, since they have been stomping up and down the volcano, the mother nature is not liking it, and that's why the volcano has erupted, so that the tourists keep off this ground. However, after it erupted, it was actually a lot of press people actually went there, and tourism in fact increased in New Zealand. So that's what the White Island is about. Yes, we will be discussing that island also. So it's called Vakhari Island. You're right, Ashutosh. Kaval, it's not B, it's option number D. All right, New Zealand. Okay, Darshan, you're correct. So it's one of the most active cone volcanoes, and yes, of course, one of the most accessible active volcano in New Zealand. And New Zealand lies on the Ring of Fire. We already know that, the Pacific Ring of Fire. Yes, we have already done the Ring of Fire question previously on a YouTube session. Okay, let's come to question number 6. It's an interesting question. So 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and your time starts. All right. Okay, so I already got a couple of correct answers. Not a couple actually, only one correct answer. Ridhima is correct. Option number 1 is incorrect. HDI simply captures your standard of living, education, all right, and your longevity of life. It does not actually capture inequality or the Gini coefficient or the poverty or the human security and empowerment, right? So it's not a complete statement in itself, and that's why even though statement 1 looks very generic and very intuitive, it is not right. So earlier, HDI was based on the arithmetic mean. Now it's based on the geometric mean. And what do we mean by normalizing the indices? So basically the indices that it measures, for example, longevity of life or education or the per capita income. So there are 3 different indices. So the levels might differ for each country. So you are normalize it so that the ratio which finally comes out, that can actually be compared. So that's a statistical tool that we use. So option number 2 is correct. That's why the correct answer is option number B. All right. So this was in news because the HDI index recently came up, and India was at position number 129. I don't know what's happened to the pen. Okay, yeah, it's working. All right. Yes, Ridhima. Ashutosh, it's education and not empowerment. All right. It's education. Yes, Ridhima, it's based on 3 dimensions. We have HDI, you should be knowing by now because it was asked in 2019 previous year's questions that what are the sub-indices of the HDI. So a long and healthy life, that means longevity of life, and being knowledgeable is related to education and decent standard of living. Hang on, I don't know what's happened with this. Okay, okay. Okay. So that's here, and usually they used to use the arithmetic mean, now they're using the geometric mean. However, the report did list out that we have lifted people out of poverty, and yet India remains the world's poorest country or the largest country, constituting 41% of the world's poor. So that was the highlight of the report. Is that okay? All right. Let's move on to question number 7. It's a repeated question, so most of you should get it correct. So another 10 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Okay, starting your time. All right. So yes, it's a repeated question. So Dheeraj, Suman, Sanjeev, all of you got it correct. Yes, it's C. Bannerghatta, as we know, the name says Bannerghatta Road, very famous, Bangalore. So that means Karnataka. All right. And Tadoba is in Maharashtra only. Vandoor is not in Karnataka, it's in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. All right. So yes, it's option number C. Ridhima and Neelam, option number C, 1 and 3 are incorrect. 2 is correct. All right. We have done this question, Neelam. We have already done this question a couple of times. In fact, it's a repeated question. ये तो correct होना चाहिए सबका. Okay, so let's go and check it out. Tadoba is here at the boundary of Maharashtra. This place is Tadoba. Then coming to your Vandoor National Park is Mahatma Gandhi Marine National Park in Andaman and Nicobar. All right. And the last one is Bannerghatta National Park, which is here nearby Bangalore, very close to the Tamil Nadu border. Is that okay? This is here, the Bannerghatta National Park. Okay. Let's come to question number 8. Again, a repeated question. So let me see how much do you guys remember. Five seconds more to read and then 30 seconds to answer the question. So all the new joiners, Darshan and Dheeraj, you two are new to my class. So are you able to follow? Are we guys good? Are we able to understand things? Because the rest are my regular students. All right, your time starts now. Okay, so let's see what the answer is. Well, actually, the answer is option number A, because Chachal and Sarani, they both are in MP. This is also a repeated question. We have discussed this earlier also. All right. And your Bara thermal power plant, yes, this is in Rajasthan. It's a very famous place for considered to be a part of Ramayana. There is a Sita Kutia there in Bara. So it's famous for this. And Chachal and Sarni both are in Madhya Pradesh. So option number A is the correct answer. We have done this one also. It's a repeated question. And every single person got it correct except for Ridhima, I guess. She has answered it correctly now. So they are here. Okay. This is Chachai. This is Sarani. Both are in Madhya Pradesh. And the last one, Bara, is here in Rajasthan, very close to Kota Thermal Power Plant. Is that okay? It's in eastern Rajasthan, very close to the Madhya Pradesh border. All right. Let's move on to question number 9 now. So I give you 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. No, Ridhima, don't be sorry. It's okay. Every single person got it incorrect. So you don't have to be sorry. That's when we have done this question. I think in the last to last YouTube session, we did this question. All right. Another 5 seconds to go and then I'll switch on the timer. There we go. Guys, you might want to read this again because it's option number B only. The Eklavya Model residential schools are only for the scheduled tribes, not the scheduled caste. So option number 1 is wrong. Alright, it is only for scheduled tribes. That's why the only option is option number 2 is correct. So nobody has answered me correctly except for Darshan. It's option number 2. Actually, they were in news because they had a second national level sports meet. But more importantly, they are in news because the government has decided that at least all the blocks where there is 50% of scheduled tribe population or at least 20,000 tribal people should have Eklavya Model residential schools by the year 2022. And the Union Ministry of Tribal Affairs actually takes care of this. It does a periodic review on how these schools are working and what can be done to make them better and what is the progress on the building of these schools. And the EMRs or the Eklavya Model residential schools, they provide middle and high level education to scheduled tribe students in the remote areas, not to scheduled caste. Alright. So all the districts, all the places where the density of the scheduled tribe population is higher than 90% or more, then there is Eklavya Model day boarding school set up. Is that okay? So they focus on all-round development of the schools. It's something like the Navodaya Vidyalayas. Alright? It's okay, it's okay. Alright? So option B is your correct answer. Let's come to question number 10. Naveen has finally come to the class. Alright, okay. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and I'll switch on the timer. Alright. Well, yes, it's option number A. So only one person has answered it correctly as of now. That's Darshan. Only option number 3 is correct. It is a digital platform which has been developed by IBM. Alright, and not Google. And yes, India is not the first country where this platform has been launched. We'll see in which countries it has already been launched. And importantly, yes, it is there to provide personalized coaching to people in the field of ITI. Alright, so plumbing, electrical work, cyber security, or small courses which can provide jobs to people. These courses are available on this platform. Alright, craftsmanship. So how do you do some certain metallurgical activities? All of that is taught in the form of online courses on this portal. I will show you the portal also. So let's go and check it out. Ashutosh, you're also correct, and Ridhima is also correct. And Prasad is also correct. So talking about this entire thing actually comes under the Directorate General of Training. The DGT is the nodal implementation agency for this portal, and Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship is involved in this. India is the 4th country where this platform has been launched. It has been launched under the Skills India initiative. Now, what are the other 3 countries? UK, Germany and France also have this kind of platform. I will show it to you. The bharatskills.government.in platform just now. So it is there for people from the labor market who due to their disadvantaged backgrounds cannot go and take proper vocational courses or institutional vocational courses. They can come here, get themselves educated, get the degree, get the diploma, and then start practicing. So this is how the platform actually looks like. Kaushal Bharat, Kushal Bharat. So as I told you, there are ITI blended learning courses, there is apprenticeship courses, there is craftsmanship and online other courses. Is that okay? So they follow the national schooling framework. All right. So based on that curriculum, this is the portal where you can go and register yourself, and the online courses can be easily accessed by one of four these of columns. Is that okay? And it comes under Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. All right. Going next is your question number 11. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Is everybody okay? Are we good with the pace? I'm moving a little faster today so that we can cover more and more questions. Is that okay? In lesser amount of time so that you can go back and prepare yourself. Right? All right. 10 more seconds and then we'll start the timer. Okay. There we go. Yes, Suman. Sanjeev, read the question again. What is the question talking about? All right. So I don't have any correct answers yet. Actually, the correct answer is D. None of these options is correct. The first one, it's not a centrally sponsored scheme, it's a central sector scheme. That means the center will do the entire funding, all right? It's not a centrally sponsored scheme. The second thing is it does not talk about the learning levels of children or bridging the gender and social category gaps of children. That might be an effect of it, but it is not the aim. The aim is to train teachers. All right, it was launched in December 2014 and it is supposed to be completed by March 2020. All right. So none of you have given me a correct answer, not even a single person. So talking about it, its aim is to actually provide quality teachers in school and colleges, attract a talented pool of people in the education sector and improve the quality of teaching, and to set up a professional standard for teachers. That's the entire objective. And addition to that, develop innovative teaching methods so that you have student retention. So that's a fallout. Or you have better teachers in higher level institutional facilities to give them the research and development grants or give them the research and development facilities. Is that okay? And there is no international collaboration with any approved of school of education under the scheme. So there is no international component to this scheme. Is that okay? All right. Let's come to question number 12. It's the easiest question. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and your time starts. There we go. Which one are you talking about, Afreen? It's under the MHRD, the training part. Teacher training is under the Ministry of Education. In fact, we have done that previously also, Afreen. Okay. Sanjeev, did you read the question? Jahan jhuggi wahan ghar. Jhuggi means a slum in Hindi, and wahan ghar means a house. So it talks about in situ slum development. It's an initiative of the Delhi government under the PM Awas Yojana. So what they are doing is they have identified 378 JJ clusters or jhuggi clusters, right? And they have gone up with Jahan jhuggi wahan ghar initiative. So they are giving the land owned by the Delhi Development Authority under the in situ slum development component of the PM Awas Yojana, urban. Is that okay? Got it? So option number B is correct. Naveen, option number B and not C. You shouldn't have made this mistake. You understand Hindi, right? Sanjeev, I can understand he doesn't understand Hindi. Alright, question number 13. 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Alright, your time starts now. So, Abhishek has already answered. Abhishek, Ashutosh and Afreen have answered. Okay. Only one person has, two people have answered me correctly. Yes, it's option number D. So all of them, Sanjeev, Neelam have also answered it correctly. Suman has answered it correctly. All of these pre-matrix scholarships for ST students, post-matrix scholarships for ST students, Eklavya Model residential schools, we just discussed it, right? We discussed it immediately. And grants under Article 275(1) of the Constitution of India. So this comes under Part 12, the finance part of the Government of India or the Constitution of India, right? So Article 275 actually says that grants may be provided in addition to states if we are to take care of the tribal affairs. Is that okay? Additional grants may be provided to the state. So they all come under Ministry of Tribal Affairs, and these are all the schemes that are implemented by Ministry of Tribal Affairs for scheduled tribe and students in India. Is that okay? So option number D. Good afternoon, Ram. Naveen, it's option number D. Darshan is correct. Alright. So these are the 10 programs, a couple of programs that actually run by Ministry of Tribal Affairs, which implements the scheme for scheduled tribe and students in the states and UTs of the country. So PVTGs was a question that has previously been asked, and the Andaman and Nicobar PVTG tribe question we have already done numerous times on Unacademy and on the YouTube sessions. Then there is special central assistance to tribal sub-scheme. This is a part of India Yearbook. This we have already discussed. This I just told you. Regarding girls' education for low literacy districts, do you remember we discussed the digital atlas, digital gender atlas? That was done in one of the previous YouTube sessions where I showed you the entire digital gender atlas. Alright, grants and aid to voluntary organizations who are working for STs. There are scholarships for STs, and all these programs are already listed in the India Yearbook. Alright, okay. Let's come to question number 13. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds to go and then your time starts. Okay, so Naveen, Suman, Abhishek, Afreen, Sanjeev, all are correct. Actually, all of them are correct. Tiger falls in the endangered category of mammals. Leatherback turtle and Bengal roof turtle, both are reptiles and they form under the critically endangered category of the IUCN list. Alright, so tiger we have already done, lion we have done, and the pygmy hog is in the critically endangered category. Alright, so Neelam, it is not C, and Darshan, it is not B, it is actually option number D. All are correct. Okay, we have done this previously. So this is your Bengal roof turtle. All right, it is also called red crown roof turtle. ठीक है? Your red crown roof or Bengal roof turtle is actually a freshwater turtle, which is under the critically endangered category. They are hunted for their meat and their eggs. Is that okay? So it is called red crown because if you see its head here, it's actually red colored. If you see the head here, it's red colored. That's why it is in the critically endangered category and it's called a Bengal roof or red crown roof turtle. It's a freshwater turtle. Now, where are these actually found? They are found in Nepal and Bangladesh also. In India, they are found in the Ganga river basin and the Brahmaputra river basin. However, maximum number of them are found in the National Chambal River Ghadial Sanctuary, where we also have approximately 1200 ghadials in the Chambal River. In MP, we have already discussed the Ghadial census. Do you guys remember? So the red-crowned roof turtle is actually a critically endangered species of freshwater turtle and it is listed under Appendix 2 of CITES. We have already discussed all the appendices of CITES. I have discussed it on the Unacademy platform in the last session only, so you can go and check it out. And it is protected under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. That means the highest protection is accorded to it, similar to that of the tiger or the Asiatic lion. Is that okay? Now, they are threatened by, as I told you, habitat loss, illegal hunting for its meat and shells, and obviously development of hydroelectric power projects, catching in the nets or drowning in the fishing nets. Sand mining also poses a threat to these turtles because it destroys their nesting sites. All right. Then this is your leatherback turtle. They're very famous. They are one of the largest turtle species. And can anybody tell me, are they freshwater or seawater? Can anyone tell me whether they are freshwater or seawater? So that one with the red crown roof was the freshwater turtle. Your leatherback turtle, as you can see, is actually a marine turtle. Alright, they are in India mostly found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Yes, you're right. They are seawater turtles. They are found in the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. In fact, there are 5 species of sea turtles which are there in the Indian coastal water and islands. Olive ridley being the most famous, found in Odisha, alright, that is their nesting site. Rushikulia river we say. The green turtle, the hawksbill turtle, the loggerhead turtle and the leatherback turtles. So except the loggerhead, all of the other turtles, they nest along the Indian coast. Loggerhead does not nest along the Indian coast. It nests somewhere else. However, they all build their nest here. Now, the problem is that they are actually very, very unique and very, very important to the food web of the marine ecosystem. Alright, they are actually responsible for bringing up very nutritious food to the shore and actually contribute to the shore ecology. Is that okay? So, however, their habitat is being destructed because the beaches are going away. So, that's why we need to protect the beaches, especially that is being done for the olive ridley turtles who nest between the months of October to April, and the largest nesting site is at the Rushikulia river in Odisha. Is that okay? Okay. Well, you will never see them, Sanjeev, because I don't know why you didn't see them. But yeah, leatherback turtles are very famous in Odisha also. Alright, let's come to question number 14. I have no answer why you have not seen them. Okay, let's come to question number 14. This is a repeated question, so everybody should get this correct. Alright. There we go. How come, Sanjeev, you haven't seen them? Leatherback turtle is quite famous actually. Leatherback turtle is quite famous. I think previously UPSC has also asked a question on them. Alright. Oh, you don't have to be sorry, Sanjeev, but it's funny actually you didn't see them. Alright. So, everybody is right. Yes, it's D. It's a repeated question. I'm glad that you guys remember. Brihaspati or Lokayat or Charvak philosophy. The policy of hedonism. Gautam is Nyay and Gemini is Mimamsa. And your Badrayan is Vedanta. Patanjali is Yoga, right? Vaiseshika is there and Sakya is Kapil Muni. So we have already done these numerous times, right? Kannada is Vaiseshika, Gautam is Nyay, Gemini is Mimamsa, Badrayan is Vedanta, Kapil Muni is Sakya philosophy, Gautam Buddha Darshan, Mahavir, Jain Darshan and Brihaspati, Charvak Darshan. Alright. Obed, why have you answered this incorrectly? We have done this numerous times. You shouldn't make a mistake in this. Not happening. Renuka, you answered correctly. Alright. Let's come to question number 15. So this is a map only question. So I give you 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Alright. The world map question. Alright, I'll start the timing. Alright, so Naveen has already answered. Obed, your answer is, I think you're talking about the India-China dispute because I heard it there. I haven't read the news of late regarding the India-China dispute, but I think it should be somewhere around the India-China border. Okay, So yes, most of you have answered it correctly. It's option number D. All right, so let's go and check this out one by one. Where are these positions? So talking about it, yes, Renuka, you're right. So we have the Hudson Bay here, the Niagara Falls here, all right, between Lake Ontario, this one, this region here, that is between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. This is the Niagara Falls. And then next is Gulf of Aqaba is here. Aqaba is a port in Jordan, so Gulf of Aqaba is here. Bab al-Mandeb is here, between the Arabian Peninsula and the Horn of Africa. So this strait is called the Bab al-Mandeb. Then we have the Java Sea here, and the Bass Strait is between Tasmania and Australia. Is that okay? All right. So let's proceed. Question number 16 on your screens. 20 seconds to read. It's from the India Yearbook and 30 seconds to answer. And another 5 seconds and your time starts. Yes, yes, Ashutosh. It means the gateway of tears. We have discussed this, Ashutosh, previously. It is called gateway of tears because the Arabian Peninsula got separated from Africa. Afreen and Sanjeev both are right. Yes, it's option number C. Both A and B are actually correct since it's from the India Yearbook. So that's why this question is looks like a little bit old. Yes, it was established by the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying under the Ministry of Agriculture. All right. So, and yes, it is the nodal institute to recommend licensing of veterinary vaccines in India. So Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fishing, they actually have established it. And yes, it is, so your dairying, fisheries and animal husbandry is under the Ministry of Agriculture. That's why this Institute of Animal Health also comes under the Ministry of Agriculture. As of now, it is implementing the foot and mouth disease control program, which is a non-zoonotic disease. All right. So we have already done that. And it is running a couple of programs for experiments on animals or animal ethics committees and like. So that is what is the mandate of this Institute of Animal Health. Is that okay? Yes, Renuka, you're right. It's option number C. And Ashutosh is also right. Let's move on to question number 17. This is extremely easy. Everybody should get this correct because this index has been in news for multiple times. So I'll give you 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right. Okay. Yes, Naveen, Suman and Shantini are correct. Sanjeev, it's option number D. German Watch is what releases the Climate Change Performance Index. Not this, not this, not the UNEP. Is that okay? However, UNEP is related to CMS and CITES. Do you guys remember? It provides the secretarial services to both the CMS and the CITES. This is the Bonn Convention and this is the Washington Convention. Remember? We have discussed it. Yes, Neelam, it's D. Ashutosh, it's D. Darshan is also right. Afreen is also right. Let's talk about this. So basically, it's an instrument that has been designed by the German Environmental and Developmental Organization called the German Watch, right? So it wants to enhance transparency in international climate politics. So this was first established in the 2005 and now they release the index annually at the climate change conference which happens at the UN, right? It is cooperated in this endeavor by the New Climate Institute and the Climate Action Network International, also another non-profits. So they actually compare the climate protection performance in 56 countries and the European Union. So 56 countries plus the EU. So which are actually responsible for more than 90% of the GHG emissions. So it actually ranks them. Alright. Yes, Ashutosh, you're right. COP13 we discussed the Bonn Convention, we discussed the Washington Convention, right? Renuka, it's option number D. Alright. Let's come to question number 18 now. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds to go and then I'll switch on the timer and you can start answering. All right. Okay, so here only one person has answered me correctly and interestingly that person is Sanjeev. Option number B is correct. Option number A is wrong. Because the registration committee which actually registers your insecticides or says whether they are safe for use or not are not under Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers but under Ministry of Agriculture. Alright. So it's only Sanjeev and finally now Abhishek has also given a correct answer. So very well done Sanjeev. It's option number 2. This is the committee which registers the pesticides for use in the country only after being satisfied of their safety to human health, animal and environment. So recently a couple of insecticides were registered by this committee. That's why it was in news. Alright. Is that okay? So we'll proceed to the next question. And yes, it was established under the Insecticides Act 1968. Yes, Suman. Yes, Abhishek, I said you did it correctly, but Sanjeev was the first person to answer it correctly. Alright, let's come to question number 19. Easiest question of the day. 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. So your question starts from here. Shantini, see, the only trick to actually solve this one was, see, your insecticides, why will they come under Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers? Insecticides are used by the farmers, right? It is used in agriculture mostly. So it should ideally come under the Ministry of Agriculture. And apart from that, if you want to get a hang of it, you will have to read the India book a couple of times. That's only when you start getting the hang of it. And the third option that we're already doing is solve as many questions as possible because that's how you will learn and it will remain in your memory. It doesn't ring a bell for you, Naveen? Okay, I'll start the time. Ashutosh has already answered, so let me wait for others to answer. Naveen, we have just discussed this, right? So it should ring a bell. It should ring a bell. And Abhishek, I did not expect you to do this incorrectly because we discussed, you said you watched the entire recording yesterday. I discussed the Angel Falls, Victoria Falls yesterday. So, yes, Neelam, you're right. So, there is Ashutosh who has answered me correctly, Afreen has answered correctly, Neelam has answered correctly, and Sanjeev has answered correctly. 4 people out of 16 people have answered it correctly. Angel Falls is not in USA. In USA, we have the Niagara Falls actually, which is at the border of US and Canada. Angel is in Venezuela. It is on one of the tributaries of the Orinoco River. So I explained it yesterday. There is this guy Aslam Nizam in my class. He had asked me, ma'am, where is the Angel Falls? Is it on the Orinoco River? So I said, no, it is on one of the tributaries of the Orinoco River, which rises in Venezuela and falls in Venezuela. It is there in one country only, like the Sao Francisco River in Brazil. We have discussed this entire thing yesterday on Unacademy. And Victoria is in Zambia. Zambezi is the river, Abhishek, and still you got it incorrect. So not very happy with you. And Nohokalikai, it will be interesting to know. I don't know if Obad is still in the class. So if anybody is from the northeast, it is also called Seven Sister Falls. I have been to this place. It is amazingly beautiful. It looks like you're standing amongst the clouds. It's in Cherrapunji in Meghalaya, also known as the Seven Sister Falls. I will just show it to you. I will show you the photo. This is how it looks like. So if you can see, there are a couple of falls here. So the seven major, it's also called the Seven Sister Falls. Can you guys see it? It's beautiful. And I have captured exactly a similar photo from my camera also. When I went to Meghalaya, it's in Cherrapunji. You saw last year? I saw it, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. And it was still raining in Cherrapunji that time. It was so beautiful. It was like I was actually in heaven. I was surrounded by clouds. So this is your fall in Meghalaya. It's beautiful, amazing. It's simply amazing. I have no words to describe the feeling when I saw this fall. And when I still see this picture, I have this feeling. Yes, it does. Hello, Himanshu. Good to see you in the class. All right. Let's move on to question number 20. We are done with the sightseeing for today. So let's move on to question number 20. So we recently discussed the climate change performance index. So this question should be done correctly by everyone now. 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Yes? Alright, the time starts now. Not exactly from that place. If you want to see the Bangladesh border, there is a place which comes when you actually go to the Living Root Bridge, Neelam. So when you go to that place, there is that village which comes, which has a machan built over it. That's the best place to actually not just view the Bangladesh border, but to actually view Bangladesh as a country. And when you see it, it's just water and water everywhere in Bangladesh. And clouds are everywhere. It's a beautiful sight. I don't think I have the photos because I still have it captured in my head. All right. So, okay. Uh, hmm. Great. So 20. Now, only Ashutosh, what have you answered? Ashutosh, incorrect. Answered. Suman, incorrect. Nilam, incorrect. Renuka, incorrect. Only Naveen remembers what I teach. I don't know what rest of you do. And Himanshu, correct. Abhishek is correct. It's option number B which is correct. It does not do it for all the parties to the UNFCCC. What it does is, it releases its report in the climate change conference at UNFCCC. However, what it does is 56 countries plus EU, which actually are responsible for 90% of GHG emissions, right? And yes, the three institutions, German Watch, New Climate Institute, Climate Action Network, published this index annually since 2005. That is what we discussed. So option number B is correct, right? Okay, guys, please keep listening. And the interesting thing about this is, when it was released in the recent COP25 summit, right? India was amongst the top 10 countries with high climate performance. Actually, do you guys even think it's pretty strange that when the SO2 report was released by Greenpeace, right? India was amongst the top emitter of SO2s due to pollution from the burning of fossil fuels. Remember, we have discussed this report a lot of times. And interestingly here, India is among the top 10 countries with high climate performance. Yes, Neelam, it is released annually. Is that okay? So this is quite contradictory and pretty interesting. So let's see what else is in store for us. All right, question number 21. 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. There should have been a space here. Yes, Sanjeev, we did that already. Yes, Afreen. Yes, Ashutosh, the highest SO2 emitter. All right, so question number 21. 5 more seconds and then we'll start the timer. This everybody should get correct because it's pretty easy. This was all over the news. Okay, so Abhishek, the question says UN Habitat Assembly is a universal body composed of the 193 states and convenes every 4 years. All right, that's the first option. The second option is Jaga Mission won the 2019 World Habitat Award. What are the options? A is only, 1 is only correct, 2 is only correct, both 1 and 2 are correct, and D, neither 1 or 2 are correct. All right. So everybody has answered it correctly. Yes, it's both 1 and 2. So basically the Jaga mission won the 2019 World Habitat Award in December 19, right? So this year's 2020 awards are yet to come. They will be announced shortly, right? However, the submissions have closed. And yes, UN Habitat Assembly is a universal body composed of the 193 member states. So Jaga mission is from Odisha, all right? So they were transforming slum habitats into livable habitats with all necessary civic infrastructure, and that's why they got the award. So it was pretty famous that India, some organization from India actually getting the award, all right? And the annual award is actually given by World Habitat. It is a UK-based organization and it partners with the UN Habitat. So the award is not UN Habitat Award, it is the World Habitat Award because World Habitat is a UK-based organization which gives awards in recognition to innovative, outstanding and revolutionary ideas, projects or programs from across the world, which comes for transforming your livable places. Is that okay? So it was the Odisha government which was awarded the World Habitat Award 2019. Yes. Let's move on to question number 22. This one is a pretty easy question. I give you 25 seconds to read because this is a long read and 30 seconds to answer. Yes, Kaval, you are right. Kaval, I missed you in between. Where did you go? Don't go from between the classes. Stay here. All right, your time starts now. All right, only one person has answered it to me correctly, and that's Neelam. Very well done, Neelam. All the three options are correct. Yes, it's an alliance of only 6 member states of the Arab states. So the GCC comprises only of six states. The Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the UAE. So option number 3 is correct. Option number 2 is also correct. Yes, they rotate periodically the presidency in the alphabetical order. And yes, it is not just an economical but also political alliance of the countries of the Arabian Peninsula. Is that okay? So Neelam is correct. And Ashutosh is correct. Shantani is correct. Alright. So basically they had their recent summit in Riyadh, which is the capital of Saudi Arabia. So as you know that the relations between Qatar and the other Saudi-led countries are not in a very friendly state as of now because of the oil issues and other issues. So that's why Qatar this time they skipped the Gulf Summit. That's why it was in news. And yes, it comprises of the 6 countries. Your Bahrain, which is a very small island country, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, right? We have already discussed them, right, on the map. So if you want me to show the map, I'll show it to you tomorrow. I don't have the map today. Otherwise, I've already shown you the entire Arab Peninsula. Is that okay? And it was established in 1981. So it is there for economic, security, cultural, social and political cooperation between the 6 states and holds the summit every year to discuss cooperation and regional affairs. The Supreme Council, which actually has the rotating presidency, is the top decision-making body of the organization. No, I'm from BIT. Yes, Ashutosh, you also answered correctly. Yes, the Persian Gulf, Neelam. The Persian Gulf is on the eastern side of the Arabian Peninsula. This region is the Persian Gulf where you have Iran, right? So this is the Persian Gulf and this area is the Red Sea. Is that okay? Where you have the Sinai Peninsula. Okay. So this question I have resat 2BR1. I have already taught in my Unacademy sessions. So if you want to know more about it, you can go and visit the Unacademy sessions. It's there in the space technology lessons. The rest I will discuss here. So 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Yes, Himanshu. Okay, so I already got my two first correct answers. That's Sanjeev and Suman. It's option number D. All three are correct. It's a radar imaging. That's why it's called RISAT. RI stands for Radar Imaging Satellite. 2BR1. All right. And yes, it is for providing services in the field of agriculture, forestry, and disaster management. And yes, it was launched using the PSLV. Why it was in news was this was the 50th successful flight of the PSLV. Is that okay? Yes, everybody is correct. It's option number D. It was the 50th successful flight of PSLV or the PSLV C-48. It was launched from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. And it's a radar imaging satellite. So that means since it's not a light imaging satellite like the normal satellite ones, you can use it in cloudy conditions also. So that's the benefit of having it. And yes, it weighs around 628 kgs or 700 kgs approximately. The mission life is 5 years. If you want to know more on the Unacademy Science and Tech Plus courses, it is already there. I have taught it in detail. Even I have taught the radar imaging technology in detail in this session on space technology. All right. So it has been covered there already. Okay. So yes, Himanshu. Let's move on to question number 24. This is an interesting question. So 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right, your time starts now. Ashutosh, that is a plus course. If you're talking about the science and tech sessions, Ashutosh, it is a plus course. So go to my profile. Under the plus courses, you can find the science and technology course. It is there. And there you can address, so the sessions are divided into various lessons. So there are 2 or 3 lectures dedicated to space technology alone. So you can go and access it there. You can also download the PDFs from there. All right, but you can do it only if you're a plus member. All right, so 24, Naveen, Suman, Ashutosh, Ronnie have answered it correctly. All right, it's Subramania Bharati. He was the editor of the weekly called India, which had the motto of French Revolution, liberty, equality, fraternity. He was the one who edited journals like Vijaya. And yes, he was the one who declared that there were only 2 castes, men and women. He was a strong votary of having women in politics. All right. He is also known as the Mahakavi. All right. So coming to it, Shivaji, it's option number C, Subramania Bharatiyar. He's from Tamil Nadu and he was also known as Mahakavi Bharatiyar. In fact, he has written the poems called Kannan Pattu, Nivam Vaniman Katram, Panchali Savatam, Koyal Pattu. All are these examples of the poetry that he has written. And he advocated temple entry for Dalits. In fact, he and his family, they were very high on secularism and respecting every religion, every caste. They were against untouchability. So he had values similar to Bhimrao Ambedkar or Gandhi. Is that okay? However, we can't talk about the caste system when we talk about Gandhi, but he was a modern day reformer. Is that okay? He also published the Swadesh Geetangal in 1908. He was against the caste system. And yes, he was the one who declared that there were only two castes of men and women. His journal called India, which was released in May 1906, was actually a trailblazer. It was for the first time that we had political cartoons in an Indian weekly. Is that okay? That was the starting of the political cartoons in India. And he also stopped wearing the sacred thread. All right, Suman. Great. Well done, because that's what I want you to do. All right, last question before we break out for lunch. All right, then we'll meet after 15 to 20 minutes and we'll resume the next 25 questions. Is that okay? Everybody? So you guys want a break, or are you okay without, going without the lunch, because we have 25 more questions to go. So let me know. This one we have already done. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. We have done this numerous times. So all of you must be remembering it. All right. Sanjeev, let's first discuss the question. Then we'll go for a break after 25 questions. Yes? You guys want a lunch break? Or are you good with continuing? Okay. So talking about this, it's not option C, Renuka. Naveen, not option C. Only Ashutosh remembers the question. All right, Suman. You done your lunch. Nobody else has done the lunch. How can you do your lunch already? It's just 1 p.m. When do you have your lunch? At the breakfast timing in the morning? Ronnie? No, it's not option number C. It's actually option number A. So the North American Free Trade Agreement is actually being replaced by the USMCA, because the USMCA has one of the strongest intellectual property protections for creators of businesses, especially for digital products. That's why it is being updated. So USMCA actually stands for US, Mexico and Canada. However, it was signed way back in 1994, but now they are actually again remodifying it. So it will be the new NAFTA. Is that okay? We have done this a lot of times. Yes. Okay. So, sorry Shantini, I don't understand. Shivaji, it's option number A. It's USMCA, not the Mercosur agreement. Mercosur is in South America. This is your South American agreement. It's for Latin America. All right. Okay. So guys, we'll break out for lunch now. It's 1:13, or rather say it's 1:15. So we'll meet again by 2:05. Is that okay? We should meet again by 2:05 p.m. We'll take a small lunch break, have lunch. Even I'll have some food. I've been hungry. You also guys have some food. Go for a pee break. Want to charge your phones, charge your laptops, do that. We meet again at 2:05 p.m. Is that okay? Naveen, I also need to eat food, right? All right. So I wanted to break at 2, but I'll also have lunch. So we are almost halfway there. 25 more questions remaining. Okay. So I'll have food. You guys have food. Take a pee break. Come back. Let's meet at 2:05 p.m. All right. Okay. So I should see you all guys here sharp at 2:05.
What? There should be five. Sorry, I mean,
All right, so are we back? So I'll wait for another 5 minutes. Anyone back? Should we start? Okay, so I'm starting uh, another 1 or 2 minutes. So should we start? Ready? All right, Afri. Thank God somebody has come back. Okay, so Afri, we'll start. My bad. I said 2-5. I didn't realize that would be too much time. We just were supposed to have a 20-minute break, right? Hope you had your lunch. So let's proceed. Question number 26 already on your screen. 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right, Afri? Another 5-7 seconds to go and then I'll switch on the timer. Might be they'll wake up from their nap now. Nobody told me that ma'am 2-5 is too late. We are talking about a 20-minute break and not a 45-minute break. All right. The time starts here. So we'll start doing the questions. They'll come back from their nap. I'll wait. I'll still wait for the timer to go down, Afri. Might be somebody might answer. So let's see. Afrin, you are correct. That's actually option number B. 1, 2, 5, 6 are correct because your Pragati and Umang both are for e-governance. Pragati platform we have already studied. They meet every, I think, alternate Wednesdays or one Wednesday in a month to discuss the governance issues, the states and the Prime Minister. And Pragati meetings are chaired by the Prime Minister, right? Aman has also answered. Aman, it's option number B. Shantini, you are correct. It's option number B. And Aman, it's option number B, not option number A. All right. However, all the others, PCS 1X, E-Sanchit, single window interface for trade, and import data processing and management system, they are all the initiatives which have been taken by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. All right. So they are under the Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance. So what are the other things that has been done by the CBIC to actually make it easy for trade and customs? So there is 24/7 customs clearance facility also available at select ports. Adoption of a digital signature. In fact, a lot of banks already do that. They send you in the bank statements and you can verify them using your digital signature. All right, e-Sanchit platform, I will just show to you. And IT modules like ICE Dash, which is for customs, right? And Atiti app, again for customs, for baggage. I will show it to you. PCX1 platform is for port related customs. So Indian Ports Association has come up with this platform, which is for customs clearance on the ports. All right, so talking about this is your e-Sanchit or ICE Gate. ICE Gate is for Indian customs. That's why wherever ICE is there, ICE Dash, ICE Gate, anything is related to Indian customs. So e-Sanchit is your platform where you can go and your shipping bills or your any other things which is related to customs, any custom clearance can be got by the means of this platform. This is your e-Sanchit platform. It's a snapshot of the same platform. All right. Let's move on to question number 27, an interesting question considering the Citizens Amendmentship Act, the CAA. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. The time starts in another 5 seconds. There we go. This one is a pretty easy question actually. Yes. So Shantini has answered me. Afreen, if you're still here, or all those 5 people, 6 people who are watching. Okay. So Shantini, Afreen, Aman, 3 of you are right. Yes, it was signed between India and Pakistan only, between Liaquat Ali and Nehru, and not the British. And yes, under this pact, they both agreed that the minorities will be protected, their rights will not be infringed upon, and they will get equal rights of citizenship irrespective of the religion. That was the main tenure or main pointer of this Nehru-Liaquat Pact, which was signed in April of 1950. All right, it has been in news regarding the CAA because often because they are saying that there is some discrimination being done in the CAA based on religion, so then multiple references are being made to the Nehru-Liaquat Pact. So your option number B is the correct answer. All right, so under this Nehru-Liaquat Pact, there were a couple of other things. So complete equality of citizenship irrespective of the religion was the first point, which we just discussed. Full sense of security in respect of life, culture, property and personal honor, that's point number 2. Freedom of movement within each country and freedom of occupation, speech, worship subject to law and morality. In fact, do you guys remember that Muhammad Jinnah gave a very famous statement that the state has nothing to do with your religion. Whether you are a Hindu or you are a Muslim, you are a Pakistani citizen, you have got every rights which is given to every other Muslim citizen. Do you guys remember that? That was his one of the very famous statements, and then something else went on to happen in Pakistan. And members of minority shall have equal opportunity with members of the majority community to participate in the public life of the country, hold political or other offices, and to serve in their country's civil and armed forces. Right? So both the governments declared that these rights are fundamental and they will ensure that they are enforced effectively. So that was done so in India, but not so in Pakistan. All right, let's move on to question number 28. The Delhi Dialogue 11. With the Delhi Dialogue, I will also discuss the various forms of tracks of diplomacy. All right. So, I'll give you 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right. And your time begins. Uh, Aman, do you want to answer? Is he here? I don't know if he's here or not. Any which ways. So, Afreen and Shantini, unfortunately, that's not the correct answer. The correct answer is option number B. All right. It actually happens not between India and the SAARC countries. Aman, it's option number B. It's not option number C. It happens between India and the ASEAN. However, the theme for this year's dialogue is advancing partnership in Indo-Pacific. So this is an annual dialogue, Delhi dialogue. They have actually recently combined 2 dialogues, so we'll talk about that. Basically, now the MEA is hosting the Indian Ocean Dialogue and the Delhi Dialogue 11 at the Pravasi Bharatiya Kendra, New Delhi. That happened last December. So this is for the first time actually, which happened last December, to track 1.5 dialogues. This is track diplomacies. We talk about track 1, track 2, track 1.5, track 3 and track 4 types of diplomacies. So that is here. This is a track 1.5 dialogue. So it is the Indian Ocean Rim Association and the Indian Asian calendars. They were actually converging. So this comprehensive dialogue happened in December last year. And theme I've already discussed. It comes under the Ministry of External Affairs in partnership with Research and Information System for Developing Countries, or RIS, which is again a non-governmental organization. Is that okay? Viraj, it is option number C. Sorry, option number B, not option number D. Alright, now I'll briefly explain you what does track 1, track 1.5, track 2, track 3 and track 4 types of diplomacy means. Track 1 diplomacy is completely official diplomacy. For example, Narendra Modi goes and meets Barack Obama, or Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping met up in Mammalpuram, or Narendra Modi and Trump met up in February in India, or Narendra Modi went to America for the Howdy Modi program. Is that okay? So that's a completely official program. Your track 1.5 is official plus non-official. So there will be certain people, for example, here it is Research and Information System for Developing Countries, or other people who are non-state actors, they will be a part of the official forum. So it helps you understand the perspective that the other nations have of your nation or the problems in a different light. So it actually, the animosity, if there is any conflict, of there is any animosity, that reduces and people can discuss issues in a free manner. That's why track 2 or track 1.5 diplomacies have become very, very important. So this is official plus non-official. Alright. Track 2 diplomacy is completely non-official, usually performed by, say, for example, we have a US-India Business Council here in India, and we have a certain organization in US which represents Indians. So if they two are meeting to discuss, like, this can be happened or this can be done. For example, there was a famous example that, for instance, take Baba Ramdev and Amir Khan going to Pakistan and convincing Pakistan that, you should vouch for peace. So that would be track 2 diplomacy, because only non-state actors are involved. So that's your track 2. Track 3 diplomacy, that happens between the people only. So when you have your cricket matches, when you have your Kartarpur corridor, they are all track 3 diplomacies, and track 4 diplomacy is what happens between multiple countries. Alright, some other countries are also trying to make your life easier, then that's the track 4 diplomacy. Is that okay? With that, we'll move on to question number 29. This is again an interesting question. So 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Afreen, Shantani, Aman, Viraj, were you able to understand me? Yes, Afreen. But usually, see, we are not sending representatives there. I was just giving an example. Is that okay? When you go for the purpose of bettering the relations, then it's track 2 diplomacy. Is that okay? Like, for example, some people, like in the past, you could have sent Raj Kapoor to China. He was very famous there. Or you can see send Amir Khan to China. He's quite famous there. All right. So another 10 seconds and then I will switch on the timer. It's okay, Suman. Come join us. You missed only 4 questions. Okay, so your time starts now. Actually, good timing, Suman, because this is a pretty interesting question. This one is pretty interesting, very interesting question, and as I'll discuss it, you'll know. So who wants to answer this? Nobody wants to answer this? This one's pretty easy, guys. Uh-huh. Anybody wants to say option number A by any chance? Yes, but it's an interesting question. It's option number A actually. Indian spiny tailed lizard is actually found in my part of the country, that is Rajasthan, especially the desert area, the Thar desert. Alright, so they are desert animals, desert reptiles, not in the Western Ghats region. So option number 1 is incorrect. Unlike most other lizard species, have you ever seen lizards living in colonies? I mean, this one was very intuitive. We usually see 1 or 2 lizards, and even if there are 2 lizards in the room, they will be on the separate corners. Lizards don't live in colonies, but these creatures, Indian spiny-tailed lizards, they live in colonies because the climate in which they live is very, very harsh, so they need to stay together. Alright, so option number 3 is also incorrect. However, option number 2 is incorrect. These are one of those species of lizards which are vegetarians. Why? Because Thar desert does not have any other animals which it can eat, because it's so hot that the mosquitoes can't survive there, which is their primary food product. So they usually survive on plants. So that's why it is pretty interesting. Let's actually look at their photos. So this is how your Indian spiny lizard actually looks like. It has spines over it, little spokes. That's why it's called Indian spiny lizard, and it is usually found in the desert areas. Can you guys see it? So do you guys know why it was in the news? It was in the news because this is an animal which is protected. All right. The problem with this animal is people hunt it for its meat. I don't know how much meat they can eat out of it, and they actually extract oil out of it. So basically it's consumed for proteins. So the oil that this lizard gives you, and it's also used as an aphrodisiac. So that's why a lot of hunting goes around. That's why this entire thing was in news. Is that okay? So this is mainly found in the Thar desert of Rajasthan, and yes, it lives in colonies, and it is a vegetarian because of the scanty rainfall and sparse plant life. There is no other species that it can eat, so it does not even have the teeth to chew the greens. It has to actually directly gobble them up, and it is in the Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So it is protected but not like the Schedule 1 species. Is that okay? Now, there is an interesting development that I want to tell you. So there was a news, I think a couple of weeks ago, where they were talking about the greening of the desert. Now, everybody wants that the desert should get more rains, people should get water so that they can have crops, etc. But there was a report regarding Thar desert which said that greening of desert is actually problematic, because they said Thar is a desert because of agroclimatic reasons. There's a climatic reason why it is a desert. It is not a desert because of deforestation or something which happened. It's a desert because it's geographically a desert. It is climate wise a desert. It's a natural desert. So we should not disturb the desert vegetation. What we are actually trying to do is having the Indira Gandhi canal there. We have planted some of the species which actually keep the sand together. Now, species like the lizards, this one lizard that I showed you, they actually stay in loose soil, or the snakes, they stay in loose soil. So then it's not very conducive for them. The second problem is that if you get more greener species, then do you remember the latest swarm attacks that we had in which actually reached to Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, which usually doesn't happen? Why? Because if you have more greening of the deserts, then the locusts which are coming from the Horn of the Africa or from Pakistan, they get a holding place here in Rajasthan. They get something to eat. So the locust attacks will increase if you start greening the desert. And the third problem is that the invasive species of plants that you are getting are not native to the Thar desert. So for example, if you're trying to go grow woody trees there, then those woody trees actually they hold a lot of moisture and they add a lot of nitrogen to the soil. So which is not conducive to the normal agroclimatic region that Thar desert is. So that was the entire report, and it's a pretty interesting observation. Is that okay? So we'll proceed. Let's move on to question number 30. This everybody must be knowing. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Shantini, Suman, Aman, Afreen, are you guys still with me? I hope you haven't slept off after lunch. Another 10 seconds, 5 seconds, and then I'll switch on the timer. All right, Aman. Great. Your time starts now. Why, Suman? Why did you not take lunch? We had 15-20 minutes, right? If you want, you can go and have lunch, Suman. No problem. Or you can eat while we are, because you're watching the video. Since I had to teach, that's why I had to go and get lunch. You can take your lunch right now. All right. So who's answering me this one? Afreen, Aman? Okay. Well, guys, it's actually option number B. Your VS Sirpukar commission is actually related to Hyderabad police encounters. Aman is right. It's related to Hyderabad encounters. So there was this woman who was killed, gang raped and killed. So then the IPS officer is actually supposed to be convicted of police encounter killings of the 4 people accused in the gang rape murder of a veterinarian in Hyderabad. So this commission is actually being led by a former judge, Justice V.S. Sirpukar. Is that okay? So option number B, Hyderabad. All right? Okay. All right, Suman. Let's come to question number 31. This is again a very interesting question. So I'll give you 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Afreen, what happened? Suddenly remembered the case or the commission? You remember now? All right. Your time starts now. Yes, the case. It's a very sad state of affairs, but yes. Okay. Well, nobody has answered me correctly this one. Obed is also back. The correct answer is D. Actually, none of these statements are correct. IIP data is compiled and published by CSO on a monthly basis. It uses primary data which is not sourced entirely by the CSO. Some other organizations also support the data. And electricity generation from renewable energy sources has also been included in the electricity sector. So none of these statements are correct. Option number D is the correct answer. All right. So let's look at it. So basically, apart from that, the Department of Industry, Policy and Promotion also supplies the data. So apart from CSO data that goes into making the IIP index, it is also the DIP data that goes into making this index. All right. Electricity generation from renewable energy sources has been included under the electricity sector, and mining, manufacturing and electricity are the 3 broad sectors in which the IIP constituents fall. All right. Is that okay? And this index is released every month. This should be clear to you by now. Now, what are the 8 core industries that comprise 40% of the weight of the items including in IIP? You have energy sector, say, electricity, crude oil, all right, coal, refinery products, and natural gas. From infrastructure you have cement and steel and fertilizers. Is that okay? So these are the 8 core industries. Shantini, it's option number D, not C. Okay? Now do you guys remember? Let's come to question number 32. Another one interesting question. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. The time starts now. Obel is adding a maybe. Ma'am, it might be, it might not be. I'm not very sure. Well, actually, it's option number C. Ashutosh is right. It's option number C. DHC-2, de Havilland Beaver. It is an all-electric commercial aircraft. All right? Yes, Viraj, you're also correct. It's option number C. Suman, it's option number C. All right? So let's look at this. It's the world's first all-electric commercial aircraft, right? Which has been, it has completed its short flight recently. It's an E-plane operated by Harbour Air, North America's largest seaplane operator. And that actually took off from Vancouver in Canada. So this Harbour Air is actually from Canada. It's an airline from Canada. And interesting thing about it is that it operates with a 750 horsepower and there is zero emissions. That's why it was in news. All right. So according to ITA or the International Air Transport Association, air transport usually contributes up to 2% of global carbon dioxide emissions. Existing technologies actually cannot help the aviation industry to make significant reductions in emissions, and that is why electric and hybrid electric systems come in. So this is a pretty interesting observation. So please remember the name of the aircraft. It is an all-electric commercial aircraft. All right. Yes, Ashutosh, I actually realized later that 2-5 will be too late because that will be like a 45-minute break. We can't have a 45-minute break in a live class, right? So I was supposed to say a 20-minute break and nobody reminded me that ma'am 20-minute break should end by max 1:45. Is that okay? It's okay, Neelam, you need not retract your messages. Let's come to question number 33. So 20 seconds to read, 25 seconds to read and 30 to answer. Yeah, I know, Ashutosh, you finding it very funny because you were like, okay, I'll go and take a small nap also. Ma'am doesn't even know what 20-minute means. I came back on time. I just was having lunch and I realized when I saw the watch, I was like, oh God, 2:05 will be too late. So I came back running. Okay, the time starts now. So I have a couple of answers here, A and C. Let's actually see what the answer exactly is. So going back, the answer is exactly D. So surprising, right? Basically, first of all, if you go and read this question, They are talking about the 126 Constitution Amendment Bill. This is correct. Anglo-Indians in Lok Sabha. This is correct, but not Rajya Sabha. It's the state assemblies. All right, because the governor also has the power to appoint or to nominate Anglo-Indians in the assemblies. He can nominate one, and the president has the right to nominate two. Do you remember? So it's not A, it's actually option number D, which is the correct answer. Himanshu is also back. Suman, option number D, Afreen, Neelam, Vijay, everybody. Option number D is the correct answer because Anglo-Indian is a citizen mixed of Indian through both paternal, no. Only paternal lines, no maternal lines have been recognized. That's actually pretty sad given the current Karna run-out crisis that we are having. We should actually have it both ways. Yes, Ashutosh. So, no, Anglo-Indian is a citizen, that's not a problem. But you're not having any maternal lines. You're only having paternal lines. Is that okay? So that's how it is. So I wanted you to read that correctly. So under Article 331, the President was authorized to nominate 2 members of the Anglo-Indian community if they are not adequately represented. And in a similar way, the Governor could also nominate 1 member of the Anglo-Indian in the lower house of the state legislature. Alright? Yes, Ashutosh. Only paternal, not maternal lines. Okay? Alright. Let's come to question number 34. 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Alright, your time starts now. So let's see what the answer is. So you're right. Afreen, Ashutosh, Neelam, Suman, Sanjeev. The answer is C. Only option number 2 and 3 are correct. Your 7th National Economic Census is actually being conducted on the digital platform for the first time in India, and MOSPI, in collaboration with Common Services Center Network, which are usually there in the rural areas, they carry out the 7th census. So it's option number C, everybody, and not option number D. Alright? And it is not conducted every 6 years, but it is conducted every 5 years. So the first economic census was held in 1978, which was also the time when we were having economic reforms going on in China. Do you guys remember? Do you remember the old NCRT? So they have listed it out. 1980s was the time when China started reforming its economy. So MOSPI plus Common Services Center Network, which is under the METI or Ministry of Electronics and IT, they carry out the census every 5 years. It was recently launched in the NCR of Delhi, and they are doing it for in a completely digital platform this time. This is the 7th census. It provides valuable insights into geographical spread and cluster of economic activities, ownership patterns, what kind of ownership is there of economic assets, and persons engaged of the establishments. For example, the Jaipur-Ajmer belt is an economic belt. Alright, or in Chennai, it's the Chennai belt, and a place nearby Chennai, I'm forgetting the name. They are also an economic belt when it comes to automobiles. or the Bombay Ahmedabad belt is again an industrial belt. You might be having them all in the NCRTs and in the Oxford and the school atlas maps. Yes? Den Xiaoping for what, Ashutosh? Yes, yes, Ashutosh, right, you're right. We have already discussed that in the India IR series. I have discussed that in great detail in the India IR series. You're right, Ashutosh. Deng Xiaoping, you're right, absolutely right. Alright, let's come to question number, yes, Sanjeev, Sri Perumbudur. Thanks for that name. Chennai and Sri Perumbudur Industrial Belt. Okay, question number 35 on your screens. This is an interesting one. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Alright, your time starts now. This most of you must be knowing already. Okay, so Neelam has decided to answer in the proper name itself. Yes, all of you are correct. It's Odisha. The Talabira village was in recently news. It's in Odisha because 40,000 trees were cut up there in the Odisha's Sambalpur district so that a new coal mine can be actually started, and that actually led to a lot of debate amongst the environmentalists. Now, interestingly, do you guys remember Odisha's Sambalpur district? Does it ring a bell? Yes, Sambalpur district. Does it ring a bell? Sambalpur district is quite famous for the Sambalpuri saris. So these are saris which are made up of tie and dye. You remember I showed you that picture of Pratibha Devi Singh Patil. I showed you the pictures of Vidya Balan and Sonia Gandhi, Indira Gandhi, all of them wearing Sambalpuri saris. Very famous, usually in red and white colors. So they have a GI tag. And similarly from Odisha, you also have the Kotpat textiles, which are completely made up of vegetable dyes, worn by Sona Mohapatra. Do you guys remember? Afreen, Himanshu, Neelam, yes? Okay. Alright, let's move on to question number 36. Yes, Sanjeev, yes. The GI tags. Okay. So, let's come here. Question number 36. 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Sumanis ma'am rang a bell of Unacademy class. That's so sweet. Yes. Okay, folks, your time starts now. Renuka, you are from which state? Where are you from? Finally, Neelam, pretty smart. Aman, very well done. So Neelam and Aman have answered it correctly. Yes, it's neither one and not two. Actually, both these statements are correct. Recently, the UNESCO convention met up and they declared Nuar Thai massage as a part of intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Just like the prayers that happen in Dharmshala, which happen at the Dalai Lama's place. They are also an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. So Nuar Thai massage has also been added as the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And since we are asking not correct, hence the correct answer is neither one or two. And the 30th anniversary of the convention of the committee happened in 2002. Is that okay? So let's go and check it out. This is option number D for you. So actually your Nuar Thai massage is actually one among over 20 elements that have been chosen for inclusion in the list there. So this year 20 things have been added to this list, which include Irish harping or the harps. I don't know if anyone of you has seen the Big Bang Theory. So Amy keeps playing the harp there. So this is the harp that we're talking about. Portugal's Carnival of Podens, traditional Turkish archery, Slovakia's wirecraft and art. Until date, the list actually has 13 intangible cultural heritage items from India. The most recent addition was made in 2017 when Kumbh Mela was added to the list. So Kumbh Mela is also one of our traditional intangible cultural heritage which is added to this. Now the Nuard massage which was recently added actually focuses on directing your blood circulation around problem areas so that your muscle aches can be resolved. In fact, I don't know how many of you have taken Swedish massages. So I end up taking a lot of Swedish massages whenever I get time. So they are based on pressuring particular areas in your body. So that's pretty good actually. And they actually come in three forms. There is a high pressure massage for stress and pain relief, a medium for just normal, pain relief kind of stuff, and a low one for just relaxing your muscles. So that's there. And in 2002, on the occasion of the 30th anniversary, the committee adopted the Budapest Declaration of World Heritage. Is that okay? And World Heritage Conservation has 4 strategic objectives: credibility of the thing that is being added to the cultural heritage, conservation of the heritage, capacity building for conservation of the heritage, and communication. All right. Let's move on to question number 37 now. Shantini, kind of, but acupressure is a little different. They don't use oils. In Swedish massage, they use aromatic oils. And those oils, each oil has a very specific purpose. So, Ashutosh, you shouldn't wish, you should get it done. The Urban Club people do it very nicely. They come to your home, they get a bed. They also get candles and flowers and everything. And they also get that very relaxing spa music. So it's a pretty good thing. You should get it done sometime. All right, let's come to question number 37. It's an interesting question. So 15 seconds to read, 15 to 20 seconds to read, and 30 seconds to answer. Actually, Ashutosh, do one thing. After you clear your prelims, sorry, not your prelims, not just your prelims, but after you clear your mains, then take out that 1 or 2 days time and go for a Swedish massage. All right, your time starts now. Yes, Shantini. Most of you will need it after prelims, but you won't have much time. But then you can always spend 1 hour on that massage. They take it for 45 minutes. 45 minutes they do a massage, and 15 minutes is the time you're given to take a shower and steam and something like that. If you go to a proper massage parlor, if you do it at your home, they give you the massage for 50 minutes or something. My body starts aching more than relaxing more after I get that massage. All right, let's look at the answers. So yes, it's C. Every one of you is correct. Both these parts are correct. I want to see you the photo actually. So basically, what is this exactly? What is happening? Basically, it's not a dirty area in the ocean. What is happening is because of the movement of water. If you see it here, it's the movement of the current. The Kuroshio current, the North Equatorial current which is going here, the Kuroshio current which is coming here, and so on and so forth. Because of this, a cyclonic pattern is being formed which actually concentrates or focuses your entire garbage into one area. So this is basically marine garbage concentrated in open oceans. So the garbage patch, the name which has been given to it, it's a misnomer. So it usually happens in various pockets of the oceans. So we are calling it a garbage patch because it actually requires cleaning and it shows that we are dirtying our oceans. So there's no other way to clean the oceans, but people who are actually seafaring nations or people who really like to indulge in oceans, they need to stop throwing their garbage there because it actually accumulates in these gyres. Yes, Miss Bawaji. Sorry, Mr. Bawaji. All right. So this is how it is. There is actually two patches. The western garbage patch, which is here, is near Japan. As you can see here, this is Japan. So this is here. And the other patch is near the California. So gyres are basically rotating mass of water. It's a vortex. It's like how your cyclone looks. So that is a gyre. Is that okay? So one is between Japan to Hawaiian Islands and one is on the coast between Hawaii and California. Oh yeah, you're right, Ashutosh. I am actually sure about that. In fact, I got that done in Chennai. So I was a member of Gold's Gym Chennai, Talwalkar's Chennai, and they used to give 3 or 4 free massages with your package, some 6-month, 7-month package. And man, that woman had a lot of strength. I had to ask her to give her like lowest or the feeblest massage that she can give me. Otherwise, I used to be all red and blue after the massage instead of getting relaxed. So yeah. Let's move on. Let's come to question number 38. Here it is. So 15 seconds to read and then 30 seconds to answer. All right, the time starts now. This one also, the Nightingale site wala thing also. This also I have discussed in detail on the Unacademy sessions. So those who have access to the plus courses, please go and download the PDFs. I have discussed this question there also in detail. So who's answering me this one? All right. So yes, Vijay, Amar and Suman, 3 of you are correct. It's asteroid Bennu. Basically, what they are doing is, yes, Bawaji and Neelam, each one of you are correct. So this has been called the Nightingale site. They are collecting the samples of an asteroid just and returning back to Earth. So basically, your asteroid Bennu, the entire mission is called OSIRIS-REx. Alright, it was launched by NASA in 2016. Origin, spectral interpretation, resource identification, security, regolith explorer. Regolith means the sand on space. It's called regolith, usually used in the terms for moon actually, the sand from moon. Now, it's one of the nearest Earth asteroids which is called Bennu. So they are collecting the samples so that it will actually enhance our understanding of how the Earth was made. So there is another asteroid which is listed here, which is called asteroid Ryugu. So it is the, I think it's the Hayabusa mission. Hayabusa mission part 2, alright, which is actually going to asteroid Ryugu to collect again, just like NASA is doing it, to collect sand from asteroid Ryugu. So with asteroid Ryugu, it's Hayabusa mission part 2. And with asteroid Bennu, it's the OSIRIS-REx mission from NASA. Is that okay? Will you be able to remember? If you want to know more about it, you can refer to these space technology lectures. Everything has been covered there, both asteroid Bennu and asteroid Rigu. Is that okay? Let's move on to question number 39. "15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer." Alright, your time starts now. Abhishek, you're back. Good to see you. Alright, let's see what the correct answer is, though I'm doubtful any one of you is correct here in this case. So let's check it out. The correct answer is actually D. So it's a shocker. The correct answer is D. None of them are correctly matched. So your meteoroids are in the range and size of your asteroids. They are there in space, alright, space rocks. When meteoroids enter the Earth's atmosphere or like any other planet, they are fireballs, also called meteors. And those who actually survive till the Earth, they are called meteoroids. Is that okay? Oh, you're there from the 34th question, Abhishek. I didn't see you and I didn't even see you answering. I just saw you answering now. So the correct answer here is D. Is that okay? Your meteoroids should be matched to this, meteoroids should be matched to this, and your meteors are fireballs or shooting stars. Is that okay? Let's move on to question number 40 now. This is an interesting question. Yes, Himanshu, that's why it was here. So I hope it's helping you out. Now you won't be confused when you go for the exams. All right, question number 40 here. So 20 to 25 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. The time starts now. Yes, Abhishek, I do love scolding. I do scold all my favorite students. Anyways, coming back, Aman, why C? Why not D? Everyone's correct. It's actually D. Only 1 and 2 are correct. This capital adequacy ratio has to be 15% of the risk-weighted assets. Is that okay? Rajesh, I'm seeing you after a while, after a long while. Where have you been? Abhishek and Shantini, it's option number D. Bawaji, it's option number D. Alright, only 1 and 2 are correct. Let's actually go and check this out. So basically your asset reconstruction companies are there for non-performing assets. Either by consultancy they convert the non-performing assets into performing assets, or they end up buying the bad loans or the bad assets and then turning them around. So basically, do you remember that movie Pretty Woman? Or even that movie Khoobsurat with Fawad Khan in it? So Fawad Khan was doing the similar work. He used to buy bad assets and then turn them around. That was his business, or liquidate them. And in Pretty Woman, Richard Gere did a similar work, to which Julia Roberts had to say that do something more useful. What you are doing is just eating up businesses, producing nothing in return. And here also, this Sonam Kapoor said a similar thing to Fawad Khan. Do you remember? All right, Rajesh. So this is what asset reconstruction companies actually do. And your Surrogacy Act actually provides the legal basis for setting up the ARCs in India. All your, what you say, the ARCs should have their own fund of 2 crores that is required for becoming a asset reconstruction company, and they have to maintain a capital adequacy ratio of 15%. What is the usual capital adequacy ratio which is prescribed by the Basel norms for financial institutions? That is 8%, and by RBI it is 9%. However, for ARCs the capital adequacy ratio is far higher. And what about the leverage ratio prescribed by Basel norms? We have already done these questions. 3% approximately. RBI says 3.5 to 4%. Yeah, you don't have to have courage for Khoobsurat, but you can definitely watch Pretty Woman again. Richard Gere looks smoking hot and so does Julia Roberts. Any which ways. So going ahead, let's move on to question number 41. We have already done Bharat Bond Exchange Traded Fund once. Here it is to test your knowledge whether you understood everything about it. Alright. So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Babaji, that differs. So for very important banks, the leverage ratio is 4%. And for not so important banks, the leverage ratio is 3.5%. Alright. Okay, another 10 seconds and your time starts. Your time starts. Yes, yes, Babaji. In academy class, ETF we discussed 4-5 days back. So who's answering this? Okay. So I've already got some answers here. Ashutosh is correct. Sanjeev is correct. Shantani is correct. Rajesh is correct. Vijay is correct. Neelam is correct. Babaji is correct. Yes, it does not have a fixed maturity date is what is incorrect with this question. Rest, every point is correct. They are the first corporate bond ETF in the country. They have a very minimal cost. 0.0005% is what is the cost on your funds. So that means rupees 2 lakh will have only rupee 1 as the cost of maintenance of the funds, right? And the public sector companies, you can actually invest in public sector companies. So it's a way for public sector companies to raise money. They are all gilt-edged securities. However, it does have a maturity period. It has two series of maturities. One is the bonds that mature in 3 years and another one that matures in 10 years. And all the bonds which are a part of ETF have AAA rating, that means AAA rating or gold edged bonds. Is that okay? And when we discussed it, the bonds were issued by the CPSEs or CPSUs, right? And they were oversubscribed by 1.7 times when released in December. All right, Naveen, it's option number D. Is that okay? And not option number B. Himanshu, option number D. We have done it in the class. It was there in the PDF also, the tenure, 3 and 10 years. Okay? All right, next question on your screens. Very easy, extremely easy. So 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Yes, but you were there in my class. Then how come I don't know you? I've seen you for the first time. Is that so? Okay. Or did you see the recorded lectures? Because I don't remember talking to you in the class. Otherwise I... Oh, all right, Himanshu. But it was written in big alphabets, Himanshu. Read the question properly. Without that, prelims will be difficult. Read every question properly. It will increase your marks. You can't afford to lose even 2 marks now. All right. So, Himanshu, you have been performing quite well. That's why I'm scolding you. Because I want you to see, I want you to perform in the final prelims examination. You have the capacity to do it really well. Right? Okay. So, interestingly, the correct answer has been given only by one person, and that is Ashutosh, which is option number D. None of them are correct. So let's see. Beirut is in Lebanon. This is Philippines, and this is New Zealand. All right. So Renuka is also correct. Vijay is correct. So interestingly, guys, this Wangui is an island in New Zealand. It's actually, there is a same river of the name Wangui in New Zealand, which is where you also have this island called Wangui. Is that okay? Now, what is interesting about this question is, this Wangui river has been recently declared as a person, legal person or living entity by the New Zealand government. It's a very ancient river, and according to the Maori sayings, it is I am river and river is me. So they actually worship this river, and this river has now been converted into a legal person. It is a navigable river, and the Maori and the other people of New Zealand use it extensively for social recreational purposes, and it has a very strong cultural significance in New Zealand amongst the original people of New Zealand, the Maoris. Is that okay? All right. Let's move on to question number 43. This also is pretty interesting, right? This also has a history related to it, so we'll see what it is. 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Sanjeev, reason for what? The time starts now, guys. All right. Naveen, you might want to go back and look at the news articles. What reason are you asking for, Sanjeev? All right. Guys, the correct answer is option number A actually. It's option number A. It's in the Pacific Ocean. I will show you the exact location. It's here. It's on the western coast of Chile and it's a World Heritage Site just beneath your Hawaiian Islands. Sorry, here. Is that okay? So A. So Himanshu, Vijay, Afreen, Shantini, Bawaji, Sanjeev, Dashrath, Neelam, and Abhishek. All are right. Have you guys seen this photo anywhere? Does this ring a bell? This has a historical connotation which is linked to ecology and environment of now, of today. This is actually a very ancient civilization of Polynesia, the Nafrui people. Sanjeev, when you end up making certain natural entities a legal person, then it has rights, duties, like a normal person. So that gives it additional protection. That's the only reason. Giving it the rights of a person is recognizing the sentiments of the Maoris. Is that okay? Have you guys seen this anywhere? So, okay. When we talk about these statues, they are approximately somewhere 13 to 14 tons in weight, right? Each one of these statues. And they look like some men, some deities, we don't know what. And there are 900 of these on the Easter Islands. Yes, yes, Bawaji. Now, these statues are called actually moais. Moais or monoliths. So in the ancient, the Rapa Nui people who actually populated the Easter Island, they used to build them. It is considered they built them. These were considered to be deities which boosted agricultural fertility, food supplies as per the historic studies. Now, this Easter Island is actually a World Heritage Site since 1995. All right, and it's protected under the Rapa Nui National Park. Now, the interesting thing about this island is, so researchers for long have been trying to know what happened that the entire population vanished. When it was populated, there were 3,000 people on this island. And it's a beautiful island endowed with natural resources. Then what happened suddenly? So what they found out after studies is that because of climate change, right? The resources on the island started declining, which led to the complete decimation of the entire population and the entire civilization. And since it's an island, obviously the impact was huge. So they are linking it to the current climate changes that we are witnessing in other islands also, right? That's why they are connecting that old study that, okay, because of climate change, an entire population vanished. It is not very far that we see a similar thing happening around the islands all around the world because of climate change. Some might drown, some might not have enough agricultural productivity, or something else might happen. All right? Okay. And this mystery has been solved very recently. I think 3 weeks back, it came in a UK newspaper. So let's come to question number 44 with that. In a similar light, now we have the Paris Agreement. So 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Another 5 seconds and I will start your time. The time starts now. All right. I have a couple of answers. I'll wait for others to answer too. Naveen is asking me, man C करूं कि A करूं? मैं बड़ा confused हूँ. So Naveen, I'll actually completely eliminate your confusions. It's option number A. It is actually related to the emissions trading system. So it was in news because when they were all meeting very recently, when they were meeting to discuss the Paris Agreement again, so they wanted to discuss Article 6 because if you remember, in a couple of classes, again on an academy session, I had told you what is the problem with the clean development mechanism. The problem with the clean development mechanism is twofold. First, duplication of the carbon credits. Yes, yes, Darshan, you're right. And I don't know where you were all this while, but finally back to the class. So happy to see you. The first thing is duplication of the carbon credits. For example, one country gives the other money to say instead of having a coal thermal power plant, now put on a wind farm plant and then you can get the credits and then transfer the credits to me. Now, the other country is also putting on a wind farm, so it might also want some credits. So that might lead to duplication of carbon credits. One is that. Second thing was there are certain projects which are still not being given adequate carbon credits. So what should be included, what should be excluded, that's still a criteria that remains to be decided. In fact, there is a very interesting article that I was reading, but I couldn't summarize it here. So if you want, then let me know. I will summarize it for you tomorrow when we are again having a marathon session. Or if you can go and read this blog, wri.org, they actually list out whatever you want to know about the Paris Agreement. It lists out Article 6.4 and 6.8, which are the primary cause of concern when it comes to the Article 6. As of now, it was supposed to be discussed in the December meeting of the climate change countries. However, nothing actually came out of that. So the current status is not pretty good, and in fact, it's on a hiatus as of now. All right. Sorry, Sayukta booster? What is that? Abhishek, can you please throw some light on that? Okay, let's move on to question number 45. Very easy question. So 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. All right, another 5 seconds and then we'll start the timer. I hope I'm audible actually. I'm audible, right? Okay. And your time starts now. All right, maximum of you are correct. Ashutosh, Himanshu, Neelam, Naveen, Renuka, Rajesh, all of you are correct. It's actually option number C. Both are correct. So your Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center is under Ministry of Home Affairs, very rightly said. because that actually looks at the security and integrity of the country. All the police forces, everything else is here. And yes, it deals with cyber crimes such as financial fraud, circulation of communal and pornographic contents. All comes under the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center. Ashutosh, actually, it was not a motivational link. I'll let you know after the class. Yeah. So after the class, I'll let you know, Ashutosh. Just remind me when we are ending the class, I will let you know. Okay. So 45, option number C. Suman, option number C and not option any other option. Is that okay? All right. Let's come to question number 46 now. Yes, Gupta ji, I now remember. All right, okay. Let's come to question number 46. Ashutosh, remind me after the class. I'll tell you what it was. This one is pretty easy. It's a little tricky question. So 5 more seconds and then we'll start the timer. Yes, Mr. Gupta ji. Okay. So talking about this, Himanshu, Shantini, Viraj, Sanjeev, Rajesh, Neelam and Suman. All of you have answered it correctly. Yes, it's option A. Option B is incorrect. We will talk why. Because in fact, I have discussed this in detail when we were discussing, I think a couple of days ago only, we discussed the compensation cess. Yes, it's tricky, so it's option number A. Darshan, it's option number A. All right? Okay. So couple of days ago we discussed, yes, as of now, the compensation cess is only on the sin goods or luxury goods, the list of which keeps changing based on the centre's discretion. Now, the compensation flows for cess does not directly flow into the consolidated fund of respective states. If you remember, we talked that there were two funds. Public account was the fund in which this entire thing actually flowed off. So first of all, whatever cess is collected goes to the Consolidated Fund of India. That's the national fund. And from there on, it is distributed to the states. So this is how it happens. Sorry, the Public Account Fund of India was for the National Disaster Response Fund. My bad. Public account is for NDRF, and here it is the Consolidated Fund of India, where your entire money goes. From there, it is transferred to the Public Account of India, and then where the GST compensation cess account has been created, and the states are compensated bi-monthly from the accumulated funds from this account. So basically your CFI gets all the money. From here it goes to Public Account of India, which has a GST cess account, all right, and from there states के पास पैसे जाते हैं, all right, in a bi-monthly fashion. Is that okay? And under GST, they were guaranteed 14% of tax revenue growth. So whatever shortfalls are there in that tax revenue growth, that will be supplied to the states for the first 5 years of the GST implementation, that is till year 2022. So this is all what we have already discussed. All right, Abhishek, all right. Stop making fun of me now. Okay, so yes, Sai, you're also right. It's option number A. Okay, chalo. Let's go on with option number 47. Sorry, question number 47. This one is also quite interesting. So let's see. 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. What is non-lapsable, Naveen? Yeah, the fund is non-lapsable. Why would it lapse? It's actually tax revenue devolution. Lapsable or non-lapsable होने का question ही नहीं आता है. Lapsable and non-lapsable is for budgeted amounts. This is the revenue sharing part. Is that okay, Naveen? All right, your time starts now. Sanjeev, are you still here? Yeah, you're still here. Sorry, you answered. I'm sorry. I thought Sanjeev ran away. Okay, so let's check it out. A couple of you have already answered it correctly. Okay, so Himanshu is right. Bawaji is right. Ashutosh is right. Abhishek is right. Sanjeev is right. And Renuka Neelam is right. All right, it's actually D. Let's see why. Basically, very recently, do you remember the Jamia Millia protest and the Aligarh Muslim University protest? So they were happening during the time of CAA and a lot of public property was destroyed. Yes? No, Babaji, I remember people, but you have to talk to me in the class. Now I will remember you. Once you start talking to me, then I remember you. But if you don't talk to me, then I will not remember you. That's the problem. Okay. So this time, when the Supreme Court took cognizance of whatever had happened in the Jamia Millia and Aligarh Muslim University, they said, fine, you are angry with the government, that's okay, but that does not give you the right to destroy public property. So in all the legal matters, except for sexual offences and a couple of other matters, unless you have been convicted, unless there is adequate proof that you are in the wrong, you are considered to be innocent. But now, from now onwards, if you destroy public property, you have to prove your innocence. Now the burden is on to you to show that you did not destroy the public property. So that was the new judgment. Yes? Oh, Ashutosh, it's your university. You're from Jamia Millia Islamia. So then you guys must be knowing that. Right? So it was there. And yes, the Nariman committee actually dealt with extracting damages for destruction of public properties. The third point is also right. Now, talking about it, Supreme Court, as I told, expressed displeasure over writing and destruction of public property. They said Prevention of Damage to Public Property Act 1984. Remember the act, all right? It came in 1984. It punishes anyone who commit mischief or doing any act in respect of any public property with a jail term of up to 5 years, a fine, or both. So 5 years jail term. Now, so however, the Supreme Court feels that the act is not adequate and they have given some guidelines for it. So based on the guidelines of expert committee like the Thomas committee and the Nariman committee, they said now the burden of proof will be reversed. Now whoever is caught destroying the public property, he has to prove his innocence. All right. And under the Nariman committee's recommendations, they actually tell you how to extract the damages. All right. So now the writers will be strictly made liable for the damage. They have to pay the fines and might have to go for a jail term also. Is that okay? Bhawaji, all I have to say is डर के आगे जीत है. Abhishek is also scared of me. Actually, everybody is scared of me. But as I told you, I scold people. Okay, I scold people a lot. But I don't have a mean heart. I will always mean good to you. So you can always come back and say, ma'am, gussa mat hoiye, but ye baat hai, I will listen to you. All right? Okay. Let's go move on to question number 48. Actually, this Crown Act is a very funny act. And it's pretty interesting also. I mean, it actually tells you what kind of problems people might face. So, question number 48 on your screens, 15 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. I mean, ask Neelam. Neelam has been scolded so many times by me, so many times. And yet she's like, she has a gen like composure. I don't care how many times ma'am scolds me. It's all right. Yeah, I do have a very kind heart. Okay, I get angry. Chalo, let's start. See, Neelam is so focused. She's already answered. All right. Most of you already knew about it. Pretty good. Actually, this entire thing happened in California. So, it again reminds me of one of the Big Bang Theory episodes I was watching yesterday. No, Babaji, you can see any which ways. Even if you're asking a doubt, I will scold you. If you're not asking a doubt, I will still scold you. So it's okay, na? I mean, what difference does it make? And if you do well, then I'll be the happiest person. I'll be the one who'll praise you also. Oh, she has received scolding from me a couple of days ago only. She asked some stupid question, and I was like, seriously, are you asking me this before 30 days before prelims? It was some question on digital thingy, right? Okay, coming here, yes, the Crown Act is actually related to hair. So now you can remember it. Crown is the top of your hair, basically. So the people of color are usually discriminated for their hair color, which is black. And most of the other people, the whites, have blonde hair colors. So they are discriminated. So California came up with an act, the first state in US to make discrimination over natural hair illegal. So people have been thrown out of their jobs because they were blacks or they had black hair. So now they will not be discriminated against. You don't have to watch it, Ashutosh, now because I watch it because I was a nerd when I was growing up. So since I was a nerd, I can actually relate to them, the problems they had, having no friends, growing up without friends, being bullied by people. So have seen it all. So it reminds me of that because in that they have a black lady in their HR department in California Institute of Technology, and this guy who's the protagonist, Sheldon Cooper, he gifts her some material on black movies and everything else, and he does not even realize that it is quite inappropriate to tell them about slavery. Abhishek, don't teach him wrong things. Okay, let's come to question number 49. This again is a very interesting question. You guys must be knowing it or not, I don't know, but let's actually see this. So 15 to 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. Yes, Himanshu. But please be more precise. What are you talking about? Nah, Abhishek is never silent. He recently got scolded in the class. Very recently, I remember that very clearly. When he was telling me something about my mic. Okay, another 5 seconds and then we'll start. Himanshu, are we good? Are you able to understand things? Okay, let's start. Okay, so who's giving me the answers? All right. Himanshu, coming to your question, yes, it came in 2019 only. All right. Sorry, Abhishek, what? One. Acha, it's one. Okay. So this actually is your option number D. Uh, let's see. So basically, if you look at option number 1 and option number 2, the only thing why these two options are wrong, even when the definition is correct, because female calf is always born, no, and 100% accuracy, again, no. So I'll tell you what happens here. No, no, it was not for the wrong river question, Abhishek. It was for the mic. Okay. So nobody has answered this correctly except for, I think, Himanshu has answered it correctly. 49 is D. Okay. So I'll tell you what is happening here. When you talk about sexed semen, what they do is there are two ways in which you actually have that processed semen from the bull. One is whether you first is you separate the X and Y chromosomes that are coming from the semen and retain only the X chromosomes so that the female calf is born, or the second way is you completely kill the Y chromosomes or the XY chromosomes. Is that okay? So when you do that, there is a high probability that a female calf is born. However, there is not 100% accuracy. In fact, the chances of even the cow getting impregnated are also very less because the semen has been disturbed or it has been played around with. So that is the problem, that it is neither 100% accurate nor there is a full probability that a female calf will always be born because you're manipulating the semen. So you might not even be able to impregnate the cow. Is that okay? Yes. Is that understood? That's why it's neither one nor two. Not necessarily a female calf is always born because the mother might not get impregnated at all. And 100% accuracy, no, it doesn't happen because you're tampering with the natural process. All right. So the semen that you're getting is actually destroyed because you have played around, you have killed some chromosomes. Let's come to the last question of today, question number 50. This is a confusing question, right? So 20 seconds to read and 30 seconds to answer. And your time starts now. So I've got two answers as of now and both are incorrect. All right. Uh, Rajesh is correct. The first correct answer. Yes. Option number B is not one of the objectives of the National Broadband Mission. It's the National Optical Fiber Mission. It is a separate mission, or Bharat Broadband Network. It is that mission. When you connect all the 2 lakh gram panchayats through optical fiber, as of now, only 1.1 lakh gram panchayats have been connected to optical fiber. Yes, So only Rajesh, Bawaji and Neelam has answered me correctly. Otherwise, the remaining three are the objectives of National Broadband Mission. The first of them being provide broadband access to villages by 2022. Address policy and regulatory changes required to accelerate the expansion and creation of digital infrastructure. That means expanding the digital infrastructure. And importantly, facilitating universal and equitable access to broadband services. It was launched in December 19. The National Broadband Mission was launched in December 19. All right. And it is structured with strong emphasis on three principles: universality of the broadband, affordability of the broadband, and quality of the internet access. Yes, the Bharat Broadband Network is for optical network. Is that okay? All right, folks. So I will end my class here. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet tomorrow again at 11:30, or maybe the time might change a little bit. Right. I will try to schedule it at 11:30 only, but we might have a small half an hour change of time. And of course, we'll be doing 50 to 60 questions tomorrow also. So tomorrow also it will be a marathon session. Today and tomorrow we are not having any classes on Unacademy at 8:30 p.m. Okay. All right, Himanshu. All right. So are we good? Everybody sorted? I hope you guys enjoyed the session because I enjoyed it thoroughly. The questions were pretty good. We did some new questions, revised some older ones. Right? Ashutosh, that was actually, thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, Sanjeev. When I was talking about that, so Sayukta was a little upset. Something were happening at a place, and they, as most of you have, the fear of failing, right? What if I fail this time? It was her second last attempt. A lot of people, it's the last attempt, right? Yes, Afreen, I remember your doubt. I very well remember that. Don't worry. Yes, Himanshu. So I was like, you know, eventually you end up failing somewhere or the other, even if you have a lot of experience. But what I told her was that you shouldn't be having the fear of failure because you have prepared well. I have been seeing her for the last 2.53 months. So I told her कि यूपीएससी तुम्हारे बाप का राज है क्योंकि तुमने बहुत मेहनत की है. तो जाओ अच्छे से एग्जाम दो और सिलेक्ट होकर आओ. कोई डरने की बात ही नहीं है. That's what I told her. Is that okay? So इसीलिए तुम्हारे बाप का राज है क्योंकि तुम इतनी मेहनत किए हो. I have seen her. I have seen a couple of my other students who have worked really hard. I have been seeing them for the last 3 months. We have done like numerous questions. At least on one front, we have covered the entire year's current affairs. They have covered it with me and they have done it very diligently. So why do you have the fear of failure? Because you are very well prepared, right? Okay. So with that, best of luck. Take care and we'll meet you tomorrow. I'll meet you guys tomorrow. Okay. Good day, folks, and hope you have a good weekend. So we'll close for the day. No evening class, Himanshu. I'm actually extremely tired, so won't be able to do justice with that class. All right. Bye bye.